Hi everyone, Colin here and welcome back to another aquarium video. Today I want to talk more about the best algae eating animals that we can have in our aquariums. They make an enormous difference to reducing the work that you have to do and keep the tank looking really clean without too much effort. And also in this video we're going to touch on the worst that you can possibly have in your aquarium and the reasons for that. So let's get into the video. Now, by far I guess the number one best algae eating fish you could have in an aquarium is the Siamese algae eater, made famous by Takashi Amano. And it's a very plain fish. It doesn't look like much itself. Very peaceful, very quiet fish. It makes no enemies of anybody, but it's an incredibly good algae eater. Now, you get them when they're often very small, and when they're small you can't see much difference, but there are different varieties and that becomes clear as they get older. But on the whole, most of those fish sold as algae eaters will be a good algae eater. They do need, though, a larger size tank. Another of the best algae eating fish is the ancistrous catfish, which is often sold as a bristlenose catfish, and just make sure you don't get one that's called a placo. Fish that are plecostomus are the huge ones, often growing to a foot in size. These ones are much smaller, growing to about 3 or 4 inches. They have an enormous sized mouth, and that suction mouth does an incredibly good job cleaning algae. They're a very hard working algae eating fish, but they can give broad-leafed plants a hard time, so it's important to supplement their diet regularly with some extra greens, be it spinach, be it zucchini, cucumber, something to keep that tummy full, because if they graze on broadleaf plants too often, the leaves do get a bit scraped and beaten. So make sure they've got plenty of greens and they'll eat algae for you. But whatever fish you have, the fact is that your timer is going to be probably one of the biggest controlling agents of what keeps algae under control. You need to make sure your light is very set to a controlled time period. Otherwise, you can have a tremendous looking tank for a certain period of time if you do it the light manually on and off, but at some point it's very hard to manually keep the on and off very regular, and sometimes if you miss it the tank will in fact end up with too much light or not enough light. So keeping a tank looking good does depend on a regularity of the same photo period. The timer is very important. Make sure you have one. Because this tank didn't have a timer, I was doing it manually, and I put a brighter light on this tank and it threw things out of balance. So I got an algae eater to help me catch up, to get back into balance, and I got this fantastic looking golden mystery snail. What a beautiful little animal it looks like. And I'm sure it is. But as much as snails are known for being algae eaters, this particular one is probably the worst algae eating creature that I could have put in my tank, because what happened was within days they ate a lot of things. They certainly did eat algae, but as well as the algae, they also ate my plants. And remember that beautiful carpet that I was so happy with? Well, as you can see in the background there's almost none of it left. This carpet has been destroyed. And these snails are terrific, and they're very good algae eaters in probably a non-planted aquarium. But when it came to the baby tears that were making the carpet in this tank, they just ate it all. Look at that. Now, it's not all bad news. The snails simply had to be taken back to the shop where I swapped them over for something a little less hungry than what these guys have been, and the bits and pieces of the stems of the baby tears are going to grow back. So within a number of weeks I will re-show this tank, hopefully in a better condition than what it is now, and once these plant eating, algae eating snails are removed, the tank will get back to a bit of its former glory. But nonetheless, just be careful, not every algae eater is going to be just what you thought it was going to be. These golden mystery snails are perhaps a little too good at their job. So I hope you've learned some things today, and I hope that your aquariums are going well. So click here for more videos, and we will see you on the next one.